It is Monday, October 14th, 2019, and this is the Pro and the Con Show, and I'm your host, Michael James Ott, appearing live on Facebook and also via recording on my YouTube channel, Ott in 2020. So, purpose of the show is, again, encouraging all of us to be better citizens, to try to be better informed, and certainly being open to at least listening to opposing views and gathering more information. Some of that information, unfortunately, life is what it is, and very often some of the things that are actually going on do not line up with some of the things that we would like to see happening. Doesn't mean that we don't believe or we disavow understanding what those things are, even though we don't agree with them. Okay? So I'm going to go through, tonight's show, fake news, talking a little bit about, the bias that's in the news. So today's show, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. So one of the main things that I wanted to say is that because of the amount of airtime that these information streams, the networks on television, for example, they have to fill, there's just not enough true news. Okay, the news is just the basic facts: the who, the what, the where, the when, and there's simply just not enough of that that's of any significance, on a global or world scale that most people pay attention to. This maybe occupies 30 minutes or something out of every 24. And so what happens is that these information channels, they are attempting to get your money, through advertising and stuff like that. So they want you to watch. And they put on all kinds of programming, and unfortunately, they label it as news. And not most of us, but some of us, certainly a significant portion of us, kind of accept what is really a bunch of hyperbole and opinion as news because it's labeled as such. And so, just for example, I was looking at the Fox News website, and you go through these shows, and regardless of whether you're watching Brett Bauer or Hannity or Tucker Carlson, Ms. Ingram, Fox and Friends, okay. Let's see here. You see it's called America's Newsroom, Outnumbered, The Daily Briefing, all of these. Okay, even the show called Fox News Reporting. If you actually watch them and if you pay attention, you'll see that the actual information that they're providing, the true news, which again is just the facts, the who, the what, the where, the when. That's not what's on these shows, where it's only a very, very tiny portion. In fact, it's just the kind of like the introductory material. It's a little bit of meat on a huge bun, basically. And so, back when I was much younger, there was a commercial. It was from one hamburger chain to another, talking about how some of the beef patties were so small, and so they had this little old lady, and she would look at a hamburger. Well, where's the beef? Well, that's in these shows. There's very little beef. There's very little beef, and there's all kinds of stuff around the true nature of the truth here. And so. And that's just an example, just because it was easy for me to provide here with the shows on Fox News and other shows like CNN or other networks They have similar things. But the thing that is true about Fox News certainly is they are very prone to not being obvious about what is truly opinion, and they more blatantly fail to stamp or label things as opinion. But they're really all of the so-called news channels, especially the cable news, the 24-hour news channels. They're all guilty of embellishing what is a small amount of true news with a whole bunch of discussion and rhetoric around them. So please, folks, please pay attention to the actual facts, the who, the what, the where, and the when, and avoid these shows where there's panels of people talking, or if you're going to watch these shows where there's panels of people talking and giving their opinion, and for example, Fox and Breitbart, for example, are kind of right-leaning or conservative. Well, you're going to get a full dose of that side of the story. So at least balance what you're seeing by watching, also watching CNN or something like that. So you know that you're at least getting some kind of balanced level of rhetoric coming from these places. But the better thing is to watch shows that or look at information streams that are much less biased, like public radio. So I talk about NPR, National Public Radio. That's a good stream where they have very little bias in what they're doing. Trying to think. Oh yeah, the traditional networks, the original networks like CBS and NBC and ABC, they only devote a very small amount of their programming to news, and therefore they aren't trying to fill 24 hours with news programming, so-called news programming, and therefore you're actually much more likely to get the true, the who, the what, the where, and the when from them. And much less bias. And so actually the original networks, if you want 30 minutes of news, the original networks are some of the best ones actually for getting information. And then we look through these stories. So on the Huffington Post, apparently somebody made a video showing Trump gunning down media members, and it's unclear what all this, where this video came from. I'm not going to even bother reading the article, but of course, Huffington Post, of course, being opposed or generally opposed to Mr. Trump, they're going to try to push that agenda, right? And so that video shows up on Huffington Post. But yet, if we look at the right-leaning Fox News, and we look at their headlines, there's no mention. So I'm looking through here. This is the front page of the Fox News website, and there's no mention at all of this video. Oh no, here it is. It's way down. Okay, and their story is it's basically saying that YouTube says that the fake video of Trump figure shooting at media does not violate rules from YouTube. So you can see the change in context depending on whether the website is generally liberal-leaning, which was the Huffington Post, where they, in a big way, emphasized that story, to the Fox News, who, again, more conservative, more supportive of Mr. Trump, and really doesn't even report on the video itself, but talks about how YouTube probably, inferring that YouTube should be banning this video because it's, detrimental to Mr. Trump. It would potentially cause people to think more poorly of him. So that's really all I had for tonight's show. So about 10 minutes. So again, please, all of us, let's be way better citizens. Who, what, where, when. Be open to listening to opposing views and form your own opinions, okay, based on the facts, the who, the what, the where, and the when, and be very, very conscientious because Fox News, Breitbart, CNN, Huffington Post, there's a handful of others, all of these 24-hour news streams, I call them information streams because they're really not news. They're really, really bad for rhetoric and bias. And again, if you want little snippets of the actual news, the original three networks, CBS, NBC, and ABC, because they only devote a very small amount of time to news broadcasts, you're much better off watching them in the evening. For example, watching the evening news to get the who, the what, the where, and the when. All right, so I'm looking forward to each and every one of us being a way better citizen going forward, and staying involved, and staying or fighting our own ignorance, which we all have. So we have to do that. So thanks for watching, and until the next show, Michael James out here for the Pro and Con Show. Bye for now.